Welcome back to Solo Adventures! My name is Livy and I'm here yet again with another BGG Solitaire PnP contest game review. So today the game we're going to be taking a look at is Handful of Hazards, a 5-scenario dice game where we attempt to escape from various perils. So just a quick disclaimer before I get into the gameplay and review. This game was designed by Mr. Joshua Jumbles. Who just so happens to be a hero tier level patron of mine on Patreon. I'm letting you know this up front because it's possible I might have some kind of subconscious bias here, but I'm going to do my very best to offer a fair and balanced review. So in any case, if you're not interested in watching me play this game, you can feel free to skip to the end. Otherwise, let's venture forth. So before we get started, I just want to point out that Handful of Hazards has several different formats that you can choose from. You can go from the most simple, which is just a black and white piece of paper that you can just fold up and stick in your pocket. And all of the hazard games can be on one sheet. You can cut out each of the hazards as these poker-sized cards with artwork on one side. And you can do my favorite, and you can make these jumbo cards. So the rules for all of these little games are the same, but the scenarios are different. I'm just going to play through one right now to show you how this works. So as usual with my roll and writes, I have laminated the card and I have a wet erase marker for reusability. This game is quite easy. We just need 5 dice, and I will demonstrate how this works. So you roll your 5 dice, and then what you have to do is you have to pair them off into 2 groups. So this one would be 8, 8, 5, for example. So in order to land a hit on this shark that's attempting to eat us, we need to get a number that's 7 through 12. And when we get one of these numbers, we can fill in a circle. What we want to avoid, though, is rolling 6s, 4s, or 3s, because then that's a hit against us. And if we roll a 5 or a 2, then that immediately goes into the trash, and if the trash is full, then we also lose. So if you have to fill in this little green L, then you lose, and if you fill in the little red W's, then you win. So as you can see here, we need to fill up 4 rows to win against the shark. Each and every turn we need to use one of our dice as the clock, and we fill in the circle that corresponds to that. We have a 5 here, so as you can see there's no 5 on the clock area, so we would have to fill in one of these wildcard ones. And again, we have to be careful because if we fill any of these up completely, then we lose. So there's the normal and there's the challenge difficulty, and I'm just going to go with normal difficulty, but if we wanted to make this a challenge, then we would begin the game by marking off any 2 of these raft circles and 1 of the trash. So yeah, the object of this scenario is to fight the shark and avoid taking damage to ourselves or to our raft. So let's start. We have a 10 and an 8. Let's do it like this. So we have a 10 and a 7, and then we can take this 4 and fill it in on the time track. I think that's the more efficient use of our resources. So here we have a 9, 9, and 2. So here we have 11, and we only need to fill in 3 11s to get one of these win bubbles. 9, And we rolled a 5 for time, so we're going to have to put that in the wild card. So here we have an 8, a 5, so that goes straight into the trash, and a 4 for time. Seven, and I'm going to take this hit on my raft, so 4, and then a time of 1. Ten, 10, 1. We'll do a 9 and 8, and 2 for time. Eight. We'll take a hit. 6 and 2. Ooh, this is good. So we have a 9. So now that we filled in the last bubble, that means we can fill in one of these win bubbles. We need just 3 more. 8 and a time of 1. So now that all of these 9s are full, anything else has to go into the trash. So I really don't want to roll any more 9s right now. We can go 11, 6, 3. 10, 8, 1. Seven, 7, 4. Not good. Let's go 2, so that goes in the trash. 6, so we take that hit, and a time of 2. 11, so that's another win bubble. 8, 5. Well, here's another 8. Here too. Let's do 8. We don't have space for another 8 though, so that's going to have to go in the trash. Time of 2. And now we've filled up the 2 clock track, so we cannot roll 2 for any more time. or we lose. And here's where things get tricky. Well, I know that I can't use a 2 for time because we'll lose, so it has to be a 6. We could do 4 and 12, even though I'm not likely to fill this one. 4, 12, and 6, so that also goes into the wild card. Oop, there's my last 10, I think. But will we survive this round? Yes, 2 10s and a 4. So 10. Defeat the shark. Our additional 10 will fit in the trash. And the 4 will fit in the time. Alright, so now let's go into the scoring. The way that we score is we get 1 additional point for every unmarked trash and clock. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we add in +3 for every row that we didn't fill any bubbles in. So that's 3. So our grand total is 12. Which is not super great. The instructions don't really provide a range, but I've scored much better on this before. So in any case, what did I think about this game? Let's talk about it. So that was Handful of Hazards. As usual, I am going to start talking about the build. So as I demonstrated before, the build for this game can be very different depending on who is making it. You can go as simple as just printing off a single black and white sheet of paper, and all of the 5 scenarios and the instructions will be on that one page. Or you can make a little deck of poker-sized cards, or you can make big jumbo-sized cards like I did. So let's get into what I liked about this game. What you'll notice right away is its art style, and I am really feeling it. As you probably already know, I love bright colors, particularly neon ones. The art style is weird and quirky, but also cartoony and really funny. I think it has a personality all its own, and it's extremely cool. By the way, if you hear some snorting and wrestling around in the background, that is my dog. She is currently playing very vigorously with her stuffed dragon. I have to admit that when I first looked at it a little while back, when it was in black and white, I wasn't super impressed by its look. But honestly now, I feel like the artwork and the visual design of this game is a huge plus for it. I think that it does so much to bring this little dice game to life. But in any case, aside from how this game looks, how does it play? I don't know if the whole mechanic of roll 5 dice and pick out 2 groups of 2 and then have 1 left over, I don't know if that's new, but I definitely really like it, and if it's never been done before, then it's extremely clever. I've never seen it before, and I love the way that it's implemented here. I like how there's multiple targets that you need to worry about in this game. How not only are there multiple enemies that you have to defeat, but you might also have multiple health bars. Or, for example, health bars for your raft or the artifact you're attempting to recover, or your younger sister, or other things like that. You have multiple health bars you need to worry about, and thus multiple numbers that you're avoiding rolling. I like that you can choose the kind of attacks that you use against your enemies. There's usually multiple numbers that you can roll. And of course, the less likely the number is, the fewer times you're going to need to mark it off on the card. But that's really all part of the strategy. Speaking of strategy, this game has more of it than most other dice games that I've seen so far. I like how you have to solve the little puzzle of figuring out which combinations make the most sense. When can you risk taking a hit? When can you risk filling in one of the trash spots or the wildcard spots? I like how on any given turn there's usually multiple ways that you could allocate your dice, and that really gives a lot of player choice. Dice games will always, by necessity, be highly dictated by luck, but I feel like the luck is mitigated about as well as it could be in this game. A lot of times when I'm playing dice games, I feel like whatever I score was completely based on luck, but in this case, I really feel like maybe there was a way that I could have played better, and that's always a good feeling. I have no problem with luck, and I really have no problem with games that are very heavy in luck, but I appreciate that this is a really fast, really simple little dice game that really makes you think. And the game is relatively simple, so I guess I don't really have a lot more to say about the gameplay. The rules are easy to pick up and you will find yourself getting into this game quickly. What I also love about this game is how there are multiple scenarios. I would still like this game if there was only one scenario, but the fact that there are 5 scenarios lends so much variety to this game. I like how you can basically just play the scenarios by themselves, or if you like, you can play all 5 scenarios at once. This game can be extremely portable, especially if you just fold up a sheet of paper or if you use the poker-sized cards. So this game will fit nicely in your bag or maybe even your pocket, and you can really take it anywhere. With a dice roller app on your phone, you really could play this anywhere too. So now that I've gone over what I like about this game, what do I not like about this game? Well, the first frustration that I really faced with this game was just how small the little bubbles are to fill in. As much as I like the art style, as much as I like the graphic design, and I think everything is laid out really nicely, I think the little circles that you have to fill in are a bit too small, and that everything could have been sized up just a little bit and it wouldn't have detracted too much from the art style. Just for the sake of legibility and just for the sake of not having to squint and look at the cards really close up. My other point of criticism is inherent with all dice games, and it's that it's a dice game, so there's going to be randomness. No matter what you do, sometimes the dice might just screw you over, and you might just have a really bad time. Otherwise, you might just be really lucky, and you might just get an abnormally high score and feel like you really didn't do anything to earn it. So it's not a knock against this game, it's just something that all dice games have in common, but it might be a reason why this type of game isn't for you. As much as I like how portable this game is, I think it would have been nice if the designer had provided us with the option to print out even larger cards. For as large as the jumbo cards are, I think it's more comfortable to play like when sitting down at home at a desk if it's just a little bit bigger. I know that I personally would have opted for a larger version had it been available. So all in all, do I recommend this game? Yes, absolutely. As long as you like dice games. It's not the deepest or the most complex game that there is out there, but that's really part of its charm. It's fast and easy to pick up, and you can play it in just a few minutes. The fact that you can adjust the difficulty by using the challenge aspect of any of the given cards to boost your score at the end means that you can make this game harder if it's not hard enough for you. And since this is a game where you beat your high score, you can come back again and again to see if you can do better the next time. You might have to squint at the text and the bubbles if your eyesight isn't the best, but that doesn't detract from how great the gameplay of this game is. The game isn't going to blow you away with its depth or its mechanics, but the level of polish on this little game is really wonderful. So if this game looks interesting to you, then please give Handful of Hazards a try. It looks like the designer is already working on a sequel, which I am very excited for. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, then please subscribe because it would really help the channel out a lot. When I reach 1,000 subscribers, I've promised to make a video revealing how I make my cards and tokens, so that might be of interest to you. If you want to help support the channel, you can also check me out on Patreon. I have 3 tiers of Patreon support. There's the Explorer level, which gets to see my patron-only posts and updates. There's the Adventurer level, which lets you see my posts, but also gives you the ability to vote on the next videos I make and other decisions that I make surrounding this channel. Then there's the Hero tier, where you can suggest topics for videos that can be put in with the voting, and it's possible that they'll be made into a video. In addition to being acknowledged at the end of all of my videos going forward, when you become a Hero tier patron, you also get a custom shoutout from me. And Joshua just wants to pass on his love and respect for all of the contest participants. Thank you very much for watching! So until next time, stay adventurous.